Alright guys, today we are going to be talking about the hunt for this big boy. November 8, 2023, I was going out with my dad and some of his buddies and some of my buddies out to Colorado. I'll be posting pictures up here throughout the journey. So this is just a couple of the way out and what it looked like. Just some things that I took pictures of and that I enjoyed.
God, your father now.
Monday morning, me and my dad went out to this stand, and then we also went into the backwoods and we just walked the area because we hadn't seen anything any deer, any elk this whole morning. We're going out, so a little bit of update. We were going out there to shoot elk, possibly bear, and mule deer. At this point in time, it was mule deer rut, and so they were chasing everything. But at this point in time, we didn't see anything. So me and my dad, we just decided to walk out into the forest and just enjoy the nature. And we came across a creek. Everywhere else it was about 45 degrees, but somehow up here it was still below 32. So we crossed a creek that was still frozen over. And I'm embarrassed to say it, but I did slip and fall. I landed on my gun. Thankfully it didn't go off, nothing happened. But I was a little bit worried about it. I thought maybe I had broken my scope or something, but my dad told me I didn't, and so I believed him. So then I think, let's see, it was Tuesday morning. We were going out. We were heading out on our ATV. My dad, his buddy, and then I was sitting in the back. And all of a sudden, this deer runs across the road in front of us, this old dirt road, and I see this guy, actually. This is the one that I saw. And I was like, mind blown, because I had never seen a deer that big before. And I was like, you know how cool it'd be if I shot this deer right here? That'd be sick. But at this point in time, we haven't seen anything. I think we saw maybe a total of 2 deer and no elk. Because a year prior, there had been a flash freeze, and it froze all of the vegetation. And so it killed off, I think it said 80% of the elk population and 70% of the mule deer population. So there's just not a lot around to be able to see. So we continued to hunt the next couple days. I think it was Tuesday night. My dad's buddy saw up across the mountain a little bit smaller than this guy. And so he told me and my dad to come out by him. And so we did. And we got really close to the deer, but we never got a good shot off it. So I never took a shot. I'm also, just so I know, I apologize if this thing is moving around a lot. I'm using my hands to hold it up. I don't have a tripod or anything, but I just want to be able to get the deer in the video the whole time just to show you. But yeah, so that was a cool experience. Let's see. Then it was November 15, opening day of whitetail back in Michigan. So let's see, around, I want to say about 9 a.m., I was just playing some retro bowl, and I looked down the mountain about 600 yards, and I see a deer. I was like, oh, cool. There's something down there. But the day before, I'd also see some deer down there, so I took out my binoculars, and it was just does. But this time I only saw 1 deer, and I decided, no, might as well look at it. Probably a doe, but might as well look at it. And so, yeah. And then I see a rack on him, and it's a pretty nice rack. So I tell my dad, I have him look through some binos, and then we look through our, big old scope. But I'll show you actually the view of that spot right here. It's a super good view, and we also got video of some guys just target practicing. I'm not sure if I still have that video, but I'll post it up right here. But so see him about 600 yards, right? So I pull out my gun. Of course, my 30-06, we have it sighted in at 200, so it's a little bit too far for that. But we do pull the gun on him, and we sit there and wait. Comes still coming up the mountain. It's a little bit of a valley, kind of, a little finger in the mountain. And he's coming up. Then we range him again, 500 yards. Range him again, 450. Again, 400, 380, 360. And I'm like, I know that's a far shot, but I am positive I could definitely shoot that guy at that range. And I tell my dad, well, can I shoot that? And then I look through my binos again, and I'm like, oh, wait, there's a fence right in front of him. I can't shoot because that's the other guy's property. We have about, I think, 10,000 acres back there, or 1,000. No, I think 1,400 acres is what they have. But, yeah, we were out there, and so I was like, shoot, I got to wait till he jumps the fence. Well, luckily, after 2 minutes of just sitting there, he jumps the fence. And now he's at 340, 320, 300. And at this point, I'm like, well, I should probably take a shot. It looks like he's going to go on the other side of the valley where we can't see. And so I'm like, well, shoot, I can't do anything about it. So I asked my dad if I should take a shot or not. And you got to remember, he doesn't hunt as much as he used to. So we don't have the capability to use ballistics to see where the bullet would travel and where I should aim. So we weren't aiming at anything like that at the time. So we decided not to take the shot. And so he comes up 280, 260. At this point, I know I can take the shot. So, but right before I'm about to take a shot, I have it all aimed up, everything, and he goes over that finger. I can't see him. So at this point, I'm like, well, crap, I can't do anything about this. And we wait there for about another 5-10 minutes. He never comes back. So we decide to go up the mountain a little bit, and I'll show you guys actually right here what our path is that we take. But we go up the mountain a little bit, and we go to the top of that finger about another 200 yards away from our stand or so. And we look down that valley, and we don't see anything. So at this point, I'm very bummed out because that was probably the last chance that I get to shoot at this thing, because at this point, this is the last day to shoot a deer. And we're just not having any luck. So at this point, I'm really bummed out, and we walk back to our stand. We just sit there, and honestly, I'm not very happy at this point, so I just pout, basically, and I just sit there. I'm not even looking out for the deer again. My dad is the one who still believes we might have a possibility of this deer coming back, but I've lost all hope, and I just sit there on my phone playing some Retro Bowl or some Call of Duty, something like that. But then 15 minutes later, my dad hits me, hey, Zach, wake up. And I look out my window, and about 180 yards, he's standing right there. He came back over. He's closer now. He's on our side. We can see him. And so what I do, I pull up my gun on him. We wait for him to get a little bit closer. But so at this point, we're looking down on a hill. And then there's a valley up here. He's sitting up here. And so he's going down that valley. But our view is only overlooking some of those bushes. So there's bushes right here. So we can't see all the way down that valley. So we're only seeing about right here. And he's up here. So he starts walking down this way. And at this point in time, we find out that my gun is broke. I take 2 shots. I miss completely. I'm like 3 feet over his back. So I take another shot below his back, and now I'm 2 feet below him. So we're all confused and everything. So I take one last shot. I aim like, basically I didn't even aim, I just shot. But this is right before he goes down that edge. And so I'm just taking a shot through his back into his vitals. But I see that I hit him, and he drops. But you got to remember, mule deer, they drop very quickly and very fast. It doesn't take much to drop them. And so we're all excited. And so my dad's like, hey, let's go down there. Let's go check him out. You got him. And I was like, well, from my past experience and knowing from what I've studied, we should probably still wait a half hour. Even though we might have gotten a good shot, at this point, I know it probably wasn't the best shot. So we should wait a little bit. But my dad's like, no, let's go down there. Now, I'm not blaming my dad or anything. He had no idea. So, but at this point, we go down there to check him out. It's about 100 yards down through the bushes and stuff. And we're about halfway down, and I hear just going off into the distance. And I'm like, crap. I think that might have been my deer. And we both stop there and we look at each other and we're like, oh crap, this might not have been good. So a little bummed. We still have a little bit of hope. Maybe it was a different deer. Maybe it was a doe that he was chasing that we just couldn't see. But we get down there and we see him trotting off into the distance. We can't see him anymore. This is about 9:42 a.m. We look at where I shot him. We see a couple hairs, a couple of speckles of blood, but not much. So we're like, you know what? We're going to take the four-wheeler. We're going to go back to camp, sit there for a little bit, and then we're going to come back up and track him. And so we go back down to camp. We get some experts of the land, people who own it. This is my first time being at this spot. And so we get them to come back with us at about 11 after we eat a little bit. And they look around. We look for about 2 hours within the approximate, I'd say 5 to 10 acres. And also the path that he took that we could see. And there's no more blood. So at this point, we know I probably just skinned his back or something. And he dropped for some reason. So at this point, we're pretty bummed out. We looked for another 2 hours. I think at this point, it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And at this point, I am almost in tears because I think, yeah, this is the biggest deer I've shot in Michigan so far. Comparing it to that, I was pretty bummed out. So I didn't know what to think at this point in time. I thought I lost all hope. I was like, honestly, God, why? Why me? Why do I have to miss this nice buck? So we're going back down the mountain on our four-wheelers. I'm pretty bummed out. At this point, it's a lot of mix of emotions. So we go back down the mountain. We're traveling. It's about, I'd say, 240 maybe-ish. And we're getting back to camp and realize this is about a half-mile away. And all of a sudden, coming down the mountain about 50 yards in front of us, we see a deer. I'm like, that kind of looks familiar. It's my buck. It's the one that I shot at. He's coming down the mountain. He's got a little bit of a limp. So we think I probably nicked him or something just to give him a little bit of a limp. And so we scare him back up the mountain a little bit, and we're like, hey, we're going back up there now. So we take our path back up there. And at this point, I've gained a little bit of hope. I'm not sure because this is probably about 1,000 yards away from where I was sitting. So I was like, we have a chance, but it's not a good chance. It's probably like maybe 2% chance we kill this thing. My dad's buddy, we'll call him Mike just for purposes. I'm not going to say his last name or anything, but Mike decided, he was like, hey, why don't you guys go back up to the stand? You take your dad's gun, the one that hasn't been broken yet, and take that gun, go back up there and sit there. Don't even go on your phones at all. Just look around and wait. I will be down here and I will kind of be watching him to see where he goes to just kind of help you guys out a little bit to let you know where he's going. Well, right now I just lost my voice. So I think losing my voice deserves a like or subscribe. At this point in time, we go back up to the mountain. We go back into the stand we've been sitting. And Mike, he goes around and watches the deer for a little bit. And every half hour we get a text, hey, he's still here. He's actually moving a little bit closer. And then we hear he's moving a little bit farther away. We hear he's about 700 yards away. You guys can't see him. Now he's moving away again. He's going on the neighbor's property. Finally, about, I'd say 3:45, we hear, hey, I can't see him anymore. I'm going to go back and hunt in a different stand. But it looks like he's going up towards you guys a little bit, but he's still on the neighbor's property. I'm not sure where he's at this point, but I wish you guys the best of luck. So I'm like, great. Now we have nobody to watch, but I understand this last day. He wants to go and kill something too. So we're watching pretty heavily. We're looking at a different spot. This is probably about 700-800 yards down the mountain, and we're not seeing much of anything at this point. I've almost given up complete hope on seeing this deer again, and so is my dad, honestly. But he's like, still, might as well keep trying a little bit. We might possibly still be able to see him. We're sitting there, 10, 15 minutes go by, and all of a sudden I see a doe. I'm like, oh, well, she's probably about 300 yards away. I'll look at her. I got nothing else to look at the moment. So I'm looking at this doe, and I'm like, wait, something's moving behind her. That's my buck. That's the buck that I shot, I think. Now, I looked through my scope. I looked through my binoculars, and yeah, it's the same buck. He's at 300 yards, and so here's that valley that we talked about. It goes back down, and now it goes back up. And so he's about eye level with us, and it goes back up. So he's about eye level with us, so I can see him very clearly. I know there's no way for him to go down the mountain, and I won't see him without shooting him. So we wait 240, 230 yards. I pull up my gun, I turn it off safety, 220 yards, and I'm like, Dad, I'm going to take a shot. So I shoot, and he drops. He finally drops. He actually drops legitimately this time. I know I got a good shot off him. We have his 30-06 sight in at 200, drop him at 220. My dad's like, take another shot, take another shot. And at this point, I know I hit him very well, but with what we had just experienced, we took another shot. I kind of like aimed a little bit off to the side of him just so that, because I know I've already killed him, I don't want to be shotting a deer that I already killed. So I just take it a little bit off to the side. Yeah, at this point, he's dead. We're rejoicing. This is a great moment for us. And so we call everybody we know that's around, or we text everybody we know that's around, just let them know, hey, we got the buck. And Mr. Verlon graciously got out of his stand to come and help us grab this deer. Here's a picture of the deer right there. We got it as soon as we get to the site. And actually, that second shot I took, somehow that bullet stuck to his private sack. It's literally sitting there, melted to the hairs. And so I take that home, of course. A little weird, but yeah. After that whole hunt, after all those ups and downs of emotion, we finally got the buck of my dreams. And actually, here's a picture of it next to a normal size mule deer. It's a very large, and for me at least, a trophy buck. So, yeah.
All of this time and all of this money, all of these sorries I don't owe you, honey. All of these miles on this Chevy and pressing up you, all them days I spent wasted on you.
That's the story of my buck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Here's a couple other pictures from at the end, just some other cool pictures that we got.
Life is this. I like this.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of this video, and I hope this was educational and you guys found this interesting. I'm sorry you guys have to hear a lot of me talking. Like I said in my previous videos, once it warms up, we will be posting more videos outside doing actual stuff. So I appreciate you guys sticking towards the end. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of my story. Yeah, subscribe if you want to hear more hunting deer stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of this video, and I appreciate you guys being here. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace.